Welcome back, Pouring Nation. For those of you that have seen my videos before, you know that I recommend new acrylic pour artists weigh or measure their paint when they're mixing. What this does is gives a constant to the mixing process and allows pourers to replicate the results they had before or make small changes to the results they had before in order to increase the chance that they get a beautiful pour. Now, I know a lot of you out there don't have a scale, which is my preferred method, to weigh your paints to do this. However, there are a bunch of different options that you have to get the consistent results that we want, which will get you to better pours and more consistently beautiful acrylic paint pours. So I'm going to go over these four options, one that I least recommend to the one that I most recommend. So the first option you have is actually to just eyeball it. Now, there are a lot of acrylic paint pouring artists out there that eyeball everything that they do and they get amazing results. The difference is they've been doing it for a long time. I'm sure there are some people that just pick up on it immediately, but I'm not one of those people. I've been doing this for a couple of years, and to get the results that I want, I have to measure to make it work. However, you can eyeball. So for example, I have these 3 cup types that I use consistently. I have a 3-ounce cup, a 5-ounce cup, and a 12 to 16-ounce cup, depending on what size you buy. And you can eyeball this. You know, if you need 1 part paint and 2 parts pouring medium, you can definitely eyeball this and get pretty good results. My problem with this is replicating what you did over and over and over again is very difficult because eyeballing is a skill that you learn over time. So yes, it's much faster to eyeball. You don't have to measure anything. You don't have to do anything extra. However, getting the right ratios, or 80 or 90% of the right ratios, and replicating makes it hard. That's why I generally don't recommend acrylic paint pouring artists do this by eye. However, it is absolutely possible to do. The second way I recommend is actually to use measuring utensils. So I have a measuring cup. I have a set of tablespoons that I have used before. You know, if I have 1 part paint and 2 parts pouring medium, I can use 1 tablespoon of paint, which is about ½ an ounce of paint, and then 2 of the same thing, so 2 tablespoons of pouring medium, and then add water to get consistency. Or if I want a little bit more, I can use ½ a cup, ½ a cup, ½ a cup. But this definitely will work, and you'll actually get good results as you're using the exact right amount of paint. The problem I have with this is you have to clean it every time you use something different. You know, once I start with a red paint and then I put my pouring medium in, great. But now if I want to do the same thing with blue paint, I don't want the red paint in my blue paint, so I have to clean this out, then put my blue paint in, then do my pouring medium, and it gets to be a time waste. So while this will give you consistent results, it's going to take additional time, and the cleanup is just a pain in the butt. So it works. Those of you that are using it, keep using it. But there are some better options in my opinion. Now, when you're looking for getting the right amount of paint for your acrylic paint pour, I do have an acrylic pour calculator. If you search Google for Left Brain Artist acrylic pour calculator, it'll come right up at the top. If not, I'll link it here on the video and in the description below. You can put in the consistency of paint you want, thick, thin, or regular, and whether you want metric results or you want standard results, and it will tell you how many ounces or how many grams of paint you need for a canvas. You know, you put in your 8x10 canvas, ½ inch thick, you need this much. You put in a 20x20 canvas with 1.5 inch sides, you need this much. And it will help you make sure that you get the right amount of paint. You don't have too much and waste, and you don't have too little and have to make up more. I hope that saves you some time. So the next option is very similar, but it costs a little bit of extra money, and that is to get pouring containers that have the measurements on them. You're going to have to get multiples, because if I have 5 colors and I want to make, you know, 20 ounces of paint, I need 5 of these in order to do it. But essentially, it's a measuring cup all in one. I can come here and say, okay, I need, for example, this one has 8 ounces, so maybe I want to do 2 ounces of paint 4 ounces of pouring medium and then water, and then I can mix it all in this single cup. I don't have to clean out my measuring items over and over because I have a bunch of different cups. Now I have these 2 in one bigger cup, and then I have 12 of these 3-ounce silicone cups, which I love, and I'll link in the description below. These work really well. They have it's hard to see because they're clear, but they have measurements here, so I can do all of my measuring in the same cup that I'm actually doing my mixing in. That helps a lot. Again, it is more expensive because you have to buy these items, and you also need to clean out these items because they're reusable. Save some time, save some money, save the earth, which I am absolutely in favor of. So that's my second favorite option to do without using a scale. So if this video has been helpful so far, you can help out this channel by hitting the like button down below. And if this is the type of content you're looking for, every week on Saturday, I put out a video with tips and tricks for beginner and intermediate acrylic pour artists. So hit the subscribe button, the bell icon, and get all notifications. And YouTube will let you know when my new videos drop every Saturday and an occasional one during the week. So my last tip for measuring your paint without a scale is to use the cups that you already use. Most of you guys have purchased paper cups or plastic cups that you're using for your acrylic pours, and put measurements on them. So I can create this exact same thing on the cups that I use. And it's actually really easy to do. So I use 3-ounce cups, 5-ounce cups, and 12 to 16-ounce cups. And what I've done here is I've made marks every ½ ounce for this 3-ounce cup. Now you'll notice the marks get closer and closer. That's because this is small at the bottom and big at the top. So you need less liquid for that to make those items. But how I did this, it was really easy. So I need to get a little geeky here. When you're weighing paints, you can actually do it with 2 different methods. You can actually weigh it, which is going to be ounces or grams. So this is weight. Or you can go by volume, which is the amount of liquid, which is going to be cups, tablespoons, or in metric, that's going to be milliliters. Now, the interesting thing is water gets weighed and volume the exact same way. So 15 grams of water is the equivalent of 15 milliliters of water. They're equal, the milliliters to grams. You can do either one. In this case, we're doing it by volume. In this case, we're doing it by weight. Now, they are slightly different. Pouring mediums weigh slightly more than water, and some pigments like titanium white weighs way more than water, 7, 8 times more than water. The thing is, with our paints, we don't have a whole lot of pigment in them. So the difference in weight and volume isn't really that big until you get to big scales. So for example, if I was going to do, 4 liters of paint, a lot of paint, like a 4 foot by 4 foot painting, I might add a little bit more for my weight because I need a little bit more paint. But for normal size paintings, even paintings like this one here, which is a 2 foot by 3 foot, it doesn't matter if you're doing volume or weight. If you're doing, cups or grams or ounces, it's not going to matter. The differences in the weight are going to be too minimal for that to matter. So back to putting my own measurements here, what I can do is I know this is 3 ounces of paint. And when I'm doing ounces of paint, I might, which is approximately 90 grams of paint. So if I do all my weighing in ounces, I might want to do in ½ ounce increments, which is what I've done here. These are ½ ounce increments. If I'm doing my things in grams, I might want to do 10 gram increments or 15 gram increments, which is about ½ an ounce, which is essentially the equivalent here. So there's an easy way to do this. If I know I want this to be in 15 gram increments, I just have to find what 15 grams of water is, pour that into my cup, mark that line, pour 15 more grams of water into the cup, mark that line, and then I have all of my markings. Now, the easiest way I have found to do that is to use water. In this case, you can see this is a 1 ounce or a 1 tablespoon, and it says right here 1 tablespoon is 15 milliliters, which is exactly what I want. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to take my water. I'm going to pour my water in here, pour it into here, and then I'm going to use a sharp pencil because the pencil will write on the side of a cup, even in the water. That water line, I'm going to mark it. Then I'm going to add 15 milliliters more of water, mark that line. And then I have my lines inside of my cup, as you can see here. Now, if I can't see the lines from the outside, all I have to do is get a Sharpie, draw those lines with a Sharpie, and then I can see them on the outside. Let me just do that here. And it's even hard to see there. I can actually see these lines. Oh, you can see them right there. I can see those lines, and then I can draw them on the outside. And now I have a reference cup. And what I do now is I don't pour in this cup, I just leave it on my table. And the next time I go to do a pour, all I have to do is line up my reference cup, get my trusty marker, and say, okay, there's my line, there's my line, there's my line, there's my line, and there's my line. And now I have a new cup where I can do my pour all the way inside this cup, mix it up, use it, and throw it away. And all I have to do is do that once for each type of cup that I use. In this case, for my 3-ounce cup, I can do it again for my 5-ounce cup, which I've done here for 50 grams, which is 1.5 ounces, give or take. Or I can do it with my larger 12-ounce cups. And then when I go to pour, I'm going to do 5 colors. So all I do is get 5 of my little cups, put the markings on them really quick, and then I can do, now obviously this isn't going to be perfect, but it's going to be 80-90% of the way, which for you is going to be exactly what you need. If you can get 80-90% of the way and do it over and over, when you do your ultramarine blue, you do it one way. The next time you build it or you mix it, if you create your ultramarine blue the exact same way and then add water for the consistency, it's going to behave exactly like it did in the last pour. Because it's the same, essentially the same liquid. That's why I totally recommend that you find a way to get semi-precise measurements with your pours, and you write it down as you're doing your pour so you know what worked, what didn't, and what you want to change. So now that you've heard my 4 tips, eyeballing, measuring cups, measuring containers to do your mixing in, and then making your own measuring containers for your disposable cups, how do you measure your paint? Do you use a scale? Do you use a different method here that I didn't notice that the Pouring Nation could benefit from? Let us know in the comments below. And again, as always, let's learn together. And if you need more help with getting the right amount of paint for your acrylic pour, here is a video for you.